Hi everybody, Holly Jacobs here. We're here for another episode, second episode of Cooks and Books. I think that's where I stuck on the name. I was looking for a recipe that I thought everyone could make. I experimented with this because I was using some different baking pans. And today I think we're going to go with homemade dinner rolls. I love this recipe, and there's a lot of those basic no-knead recipes out there, so you can use something else if you prefer, but I like this one simply because it is so easy. I make up a batch of dough at the beginning of the week, and we still can be having fresh rolls every day for dinner at the end of the week. So here's the ingredients. I've got a big bowl for mixing, kosher salt, 3 cups of water, yeast. I use the white wheat. I don't like the dark wheat in this recipe. I think it gives it a little bit of a funky taste. And white flour. So if you've got your pens, copy this down. I'll also print it. It's 3 cups of water, 1.5 tablespoons of the yeast, 1.5 tablespoons of the kosher salt. It's 1.5 cups of the white wheat, and then 5 cups of the white flour. All right, we're going to mix it together. Okay, 1.5 tablespoons of the kosher salt, which of course is not going to come out very easily. And then 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. I buy bulk. You can buy the little packets at the store. They cost so much more. So if you're making bread with any regularity, I think a big box of it or a big bag of it, and I just store it in the refrigerator. So 1.5. I can't figure out how to keep this on me and do the rest of this. Okay, we're going to switch over to this. I like 1.5 cups of the white wheat. You could do it all white if you don't like the way wheat tastes. I've been buying, the white has just a more delicate taste, but it's still whole wheat. I've been grinding some of my own, but we didn't do that for this. So this is a 1/2 cup each one. So there's 1 cup. Okay, so now we're going to just mix that up. The water was tepid. I'm not sure if I said that before. Not too hot. That'll kill the yeast. Not too cold. It won't allow the yeast to rise and grow, which is what you want. I use a wooden spoon. Mix it all together. I don't worry so much. I've read a bunch of recipes where they're measuring each cup precisely, taking a knife and leveling off the measurement. I know what I want the dough to look like, so if I get to the end it's a little too dry, add a little more water. If it's a little too wet, add a little more flour. And I don't get too freaked out about being precise with the measurements on the flour. Different flours, some are wetter than others, some have absorbed depending on how humid your house is more. So I just let it go itself. All right, so here we are. All right, here's the finished product. You can see it's pretty well incorporated. The dough is a little bit sticky. It's not, it will fall off, so it doesn't stick without coming off at all, but it's not a real dry dough. That's what I want. The next part of the recipe is a difficult one. Walk away, let it sit. I put the lid on this loosely and let it sit a couple hours and we'll come back. Okay, it's been 2 hours and there's our dough. Pretty much rose to the top, a little bit on the lid. And here's what I'm going to cook it in. Normally when it's just us, I use this. It's made by Lodge. They call it their biscuit pan. I find it fantastic for rolls like this. But because I knew most of you would not have that, I have a regular cast iron pan. So I'll do a couple in there too, just so that we can see and compare. All right, here we go. Clean hands. I take a nice little glop of dough, and I don't want to knead it. I don't really want to put too much pressure on it. I just fold it over on itself, and it's a roll. I'm going to make 4 of them, so I'll have for lunch, and we'll probably have some left over for dinner then. And there's another one. Then what I'll do with the rest of this dough, I will put it back into the refrigerator. And if I'm going to make them tomorrow, I'll pull it out, I'll form the dough, let the oven warm up to 450 while the dough rises, about a half hour. And I put them in the oven and cook them, depending on how big you make your rolls, anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes. The bottom will be a little brown and sort of sound hollow if you tap it. Okay, and here we are about 25 minutes after I put them in. They're done both ways. Here's what you're looking for. I don't know if you can hear it well enough over the microphone, but it has a sort of hollow sound. This is how I tend to do them for us, but if you don't have the Lodge biscuit pan, then I just use the cast iron pan, and as you can see, the bottom's brown just as nicely. I tried when I was going to do this doing it on cookie sheets. I tried some muffin tins. I didn't like any of them, so I would stick with cast iron. Whatever you have that works for you, go with it. Oh, and here it is, buttered, and I use my totally geeky Christmas present. It's a butter grater, so I can take cold butter, put it on my roll, and it'll spread around no problem. And there you go, roll with a little bit of wild blueberry jam on it. That's my snack today. All right, and that's it. Fresh dinner rolls. It took a few minutes to mix up, and really every night it's pull out a few, put them in your pan, let them rise while the oven heats up to 450, and an hour later you have fresh dinner rolls with your dinner. Again, this is Holly Jacobs, my new series, Cooks and Books. Speaking of books, I hope you'll look for mine right now. Made in LA Mystery Series is all in a bundle, and it's best-selling on Amazon. And my newest release, These Three Words, is available as well. Made in LA is kind of a comedy. These Three Words is not a comedy. It's a very emotional drama and romance. Thank you very much. Keep an eye out. There should be another Cooks and Books in the next month or two. Have a good day.